Hey guys, so now we're looking at making a small wooden boat project that we make at Ranella East College. One other thing that I'm going to change before we continue on and assemble all these different parts that we've previously made together is actually change the material on this. So I'm going to go to Tools, I'm going to go to Materials, and we're going to set this as Radiator Pine. Oh, I'm going to type Pine, that's always easy. Pine. And then Radiator Pine is the easiest one to select there. So we've got that. Now I can actually, because this is the original, I can press save. I'm going to save that normally. Part 3 here, I forgot to save in the last video as well. So I'm going to quickly save that. And again, because this is a fresh sheet, I can just press the normal save and save that as dowel. And save that. So now we've got all our parts saved, we can start assembling them together. So I'm going to go up here and start a new drawing, and we've got our same thing there. So we've made all our parts in this section. We now move down to this section just here and go to standard millimeters because, hey, we're in Australia, we use the metric system. We don't use some crazy imperial units. So we need to select that and then go create. Now we're going to bring our parts in. So the first thing we do is place our parts. So you can see up here using that language place. Technical languages, and put that in there. You can see we've still got our last one up, so I need to navigate to my projects folder and find our wooden boat just there. And we're going to put our base in first. Normally try to put the biggest component in, or the easiest one to put down as a base, so the rest of them won't move. So opening that up and pressing left clicking, right click, OK, because we don't want to put 2 of them in. We're going to get to that a little bit later, why it's really cool that you can put multiples in. So we've got our base here, and you see here that it's on the correct plane. I can move it around like that and it stays nice and straight. What I need to do though is actually make it so this doesn't move. So on the XZ plane, so opening up origins here in the top left, going down to XZ, left clicking on that, and then going constrain up here in the top left as well. Now we've already got mate selected, 0 offset, and I just need to click on this face. See, I'm not clicking on the edge, I'm clicking on the face. And then go apply, and that's good to go. Now the next thing we can actually do is click on another face. So while we've still got our constraint option open, I can go to the XZ plane, which is the top plane. I can then constrain that and go apply. Now I can cancel out of that. I'm going to quickly rotate this around. Or is it going to let me? And we've got that there set ready to add parts to. Now what we're going to do is add the next biggest part. We're going to go place again, and you see it takes you straight back to the folder that you're originally working in. And I'm going to put my upright in, open, and just remembering that you can, once you've put it in, I could just put it in and start constraining it to move it around the right way, but I could also right click and go rotate and rotate. I went to the X axis, rotated that 90 degrees, and made it, whoops, now I've got to do it all the way around, and made it stand up the right way. And then I'm going to left click to place it. If I want to place another one, I can left click again, but we definitely don't need to. So you can see here, and I've got my nice curved edges on the top. That's another way to tell that you've got it the right way around. Now I'm going to go constrain. I'm going to constrain the base to the base of this, making sure you get that nice arrow pointing down. Left click and go apply. Now I'm going to teach you how to use a different constraint tool, and that is the flush tool. So this is what makes edges flush together. So if I click on the edge of this and the edge of this, and it says, yep, I want them perfectly flat against each other. Okay, you might see some tradies and your dad and other things like that, or mum, run their finger over something to see if it's flat, and that's basically what the flush tool does. It makes sure these two are flat together and you don't have a bump there. So now we've got that done, you can look at the front there, it fits nice and perfect, which is really what we want. Now, we could do another nice easy one, so I'm going to go place, because we've already got the hole there for the dowel to go in, and with the dowels come in nicely standing up, left click, go OK, right click and go OK to get out of it. Now what we're going to do is a couple of things. Firstly, we're going to constrain. Now this one gets a little bit trickier, because we need to rotate around and select the bottom. Might need to zoom in. I could have done it, but we'll zoom in. The bottom of that, and then we're going to rotate all the way around again to get the bottom of that there and go apply. Now the beauty of this is that, well, the unfortunate thing about this is I can still move it left and right. So the next thing I need to do is constrain it, and I'm going to constrain the center line of that with the center line. And if I zoom in a little bit, you might need to click a little bit off center, or else it's just going to try to go for the middle, and then go OK. So now we've got the bottom of that placed, and we've got it perfectly in the center, so it can't move around now. Next thing we're going to do, and this will be the final part, it's probably the most difficult part of putting this little boat together, is putting the little triangles in on the side. But you'll even see with that, it's not too hard. So I go place, and we're going to select our triangle, and we're going to select open. We're going to rotate this around, which I've done very poorly. Is it the x-axis? No, it's definitely not. There we go, and we've got it standing up the right way. So that took a little bit. Hopefully you guys are better at that than me. And then I can left click, and I can left click twice and right click and go OK. So now I've got these in there. You can see that I've placed them. They're not in the right spot, but they're reasonably close. So what I'm going to do is constrain. I can constrain some edges, or I could cancel that and I can go constrain. I'm going to use our nifty flush tool that we used just before, and then go apply. So now I've made it so that's nice and flat. So if I spin this around to like that, you can see that it's flush with that edge. The next thing that we need to do is get the top and the bottom constrained to where they need to be. Well, yeah, so we're going to change back from flush to constrain. Use that edge to there, apply, and put that edge to there, and go OK. So you can see there I've added in our little triangle. Now I'm going to scoot around to the other side, and we're going to do the same thing. So constrain, and we're going to select flush this edge and this edge, and go apply. See there, that didn't actually have to move. The reason for that is that it's still in line and it can be flushed. That's why it's important to flush it first, and then you can change over to our mate tool, which is this one, and we're going to make these different edges be best friends. Alright, and OK, so left click on the two edges again and making that fit in. So now we've made our boat, and this is a really cool representation of what we make in school, and it looks really good. So now I'm going to save this. So going up top and pressing save. Same folder, wooden boat assembly, and then go save. OK, because we're using all multiple files within this. Now, we've only been going for 7 minutes at the moment, so we could fit in another really cool option that you guys can do. If you're in Year 8 and you're putting this together, this is kind of one of those things that puts you above what you'd normally be able to do and gives you that kind of A grade. So if we go here and we go new, we're going to scroll right to the bottom of here, and we're going to go to standard millimeters IPN. So we're doing a presentation view, and we're going to create that. Now for this, we need to insert a model. And the model we're going to insert is going to be the assembly that we just made, to the wooden boat assembly, and we're going to open that. Now the cool thing about this is we're actually going to pull this apart. It's called an exploded view, and we're going to do that so you can see how everything goes together. So if I go from the side here, and what we're going to do is we're going to, oh, I don't like it, that middle bit doesn't look right, so I'm going to go here, quickly have a look, and we're going to go constrain, and we're going to see if we can constrain these together, because I don't like how that's not fitting perfect. And let's go OK. That looks way better. Beauty of this is if I press save and then go back to my other view, you can see how it's moved it for me as well. All of these different drawings and parts are connected. If I change some of the material on these, you'll be able to see it change in here as well. So that's one of the really good things about Autodesk Inventor. It really helps you be able to change things on the fly. So now what we're going to do, we're going to make this go up there and that go up there. So right click on this, we're going to go tweak component, and you can see here if I click on this arrow and move it up, it moves in the negatives, and that's because we're not moving the same way that the arrow is. So I'm going to make sure that I keep all of these consistent. I need that to be -30, and it's going to move up a consistent distance, and then go OK. I'm going to right click next on this part, and then go tweak component. Now it's going to be a positive because the arrow is moving in that direction, so we can just type 30 and press enter. Now what we're going to do is make the base move down. So right click tweak components, we're going to move that down, -30. Let's move these a little bit. Right click, tweak component. Let's make it go this way to positive, so 30. And this one as well, right click, tweak component, and that's going to be a positive 30 as well. And then go OK. So now if I look at it from this angle, and I press play down here in the middle, you can see how your project all comes apart just like that. And you can see how all the bits go together. And I think this is a really, really good way to do that. I'm going to move my view around a little bit. Cool. I'm going to go save. Wooden boat present. So in between wooden boat and boat and assembly, sorry, we're going to type presentation, because it's a wooden boat presentation assembly, and press save. So now what you should have the skills to do is put your wooden boat together and then also turn it into a presentation view like this. One cool thing you can do as well, if I go here to video, I can export this video. Current window size, blah, 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 blah. We don't want to send it to documents. We want to send it to Autodesk, projects, wooden boat. We've selected that folder. Do we want it to be, yep, we're going to have it as a WMV file, and then go OK. And so that actually publishes that video, and so you can have that, it blowing apart and looking really cool, so people can view it. So I'll probably include that on the sector videos as well. So hopefully you have learned a lot from this video. Like I was saying before, you know how to put your parts together, you know how to make an exploded view. Okay, cool. And then what we could also have a look at is, I got a wooden boat. Let's try opening up this storyboard just to make sure it's worked. Whoops, you can let me drag you onto this screen. And so you can see here, well, I've just been able to drag it on. You can see here that it plays through your video and outputs your video file there. So hopefully you've learned a lot, and you'll stay tuned for the next video.